Hi everyone, welcome back again to Study Abroad Tips with Michelle. So today I'll just like to take you guys a little through writing your study plan when you want to apply for your Canadian study visa. It's very important for you to know that a study plan for your visa application is one of the prerequisite documents you need when you're applying for your Canadian study visa. It doesn't work that way for other countries, but basically for Canada, a study plan is one of the prerequisite documents needed to submit with other documents for your application. So today, I'm just going to be talking about 6 tips to consider when you want to write your study plan. I've seen cases where people go through the study plan and want someone to go through it and be sure that it's properly written. I've seen cases where colleagues in the industry would volunteer to help you write the study plan. But in our case, we'll give you guidance, we'll give you the tips, we'll go through what you've written because it's supposed to be your story, not mine. So saying I should go ahead and write the study plan, there's no specific template that really works, but if you go around these tips and relate it to your story, it makes it easier. Your study plan should be precise. It should contain facts that you can actually prove, not facts that you're assuming. So before I start with the tips, I would like to remind you to please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. So the first tip you may want to consider would be why you want to study in Canada. Here you would need to do a little research on what makes studying in Canada peculiar compared to any other country. And you also want to talk about your excitement based on what you have seen online, what you've heard about other people who have come to Canada to study, and couple that paragraph to make it really interesting and insightful to whoever is reading it, to understand that you have taken your time to do a little research, and then hence that's what made you choose Canada over any other country. The second tip here you would want to consider is your educational goals, your overall educational goals. Here you can talk about a little bit of your academic history, and if it's in the case where you are probably changing a field completely from what you studied in your academic history. For example, maybe your undergraduate studies was in engineering and now you're looking at something more in the business field, you would want to use this paragraph to explain what is giving you the nudge for that change. Probably maybe the current career that you've chosen is the reason why you want to further your studies, switching completely from your previous academic field to what you're looking at. So make anybody who is reading your study plan to understand the basis for which you're going for that particular courses, because you know what the course is going to do for you or help you with when you're done with the school. And please, whatever it is you're saying, the goal shouldn't be because I hope to get certain jobs in Canada. It should be based on when I'm done with my studies and I come back home, this course will be beneficial for this career field I'm looking at in my home country, not in Canada. Please don't establish it in your study plan that you do not plan to come back. As much as possible, try to be very deliberate about that part. So the third point you would want to talk about would be why you're not looking at taking that particular course in your home country. Why Canada? Why not study the same program in your country? Here you could also explain that probably some of the universities you've done your research in your home country don't run some particular modules that you have seen in the school you've chosen to go in Canada. They have specific modules for this course that have piqued your interest, while in your home country the course is available, yes, but there are some specific modules that are missing that you think would be good for you. These would make anybody reading your study plan to understand that you've done your homework, you've done your research, you understand the courses you're going to go through in that program of choice. So it's usually very exciting for anyone to know that this person has done their homework, so they know what they are coming for. They are not just choosing a course because it sounds interesting or because a friend of theirs has done the program before, but they are usually happy to see that you've run a research, you understand the modules, you've established which modules sound interesting to what you're looking at as far as your career is concerned. So convincing anybody that I've done my research, I've done my homework, and that's why I'm choosing this course, it's quite convincing for anybody to say, okay, this person knows what they are doing and that's why they are coming for this program. So the number 4 tip you would want to consider is how the program you're going for would enhance your career opportunities in your home country. I think I chipped it in the second tip I mentioned, that you should convince your visa officer that this program you're going for is particularly because in your current career you need some form of upgrade, possibly, to help you get to that level of career you're looking at, and this course you've chosen would help you to get to that level of career. Or just make sure you're linking the course to your long-term goals. This is what I plan to do. If you plan to probably start up your own business and you feel that you need some academic qualification or to learn more skills so that you know what you're doing in the business you want to run in the future, this is the point where you establish that information. So the number 5 tip you want to consider will be the ties you have with your country. So for example, if you're a couple and your spouse is coming first, the other spouse can be the strong ties. Another thing that you can also hold onto as a strong ties would be if you probably have a business, if you have your net worth assets. Here you could declare them. This and this is what you have. You could also establish what you're selling off to help you achieve your studies, what you're coming back to, what you're keeping. And this is not just you saying, this is what I have, this is what I don't have. You have to evaluate those documents. You have to certify them, evaluate them, and add them to the application. So while you're adding this breakdown to your study plan, you also back it up with a proof of what you're saying. You add it to the application. So like I said from the beginning, don't base your study plan on assumptions. Base it on facts, and as much as possible, add a proof of whatever you're showing that is a strong tie to your country. Most times what I would usually advise couples is if probably if it's the husband that wants to go first, or if it's the wife that wants to go first, you establish that because your children or because your husband is back home, that's a strong tie. I mean, that's a reason why you're just going to study and you will come back to join your partner, regardless of the fact that most times they will have to apply shortly after you get your visa. But I mean, these days, it's also very advisable for the entire family to apply together at once, and everybody just gets their visa and, get to travel together. But in the case where one person is coming and leaving the other behind, or where there are kids and maybe one of the spouses is coming without the kids, all those are bases for strong ties that you can add to your application. And then the number 6 tip here would be to provide your details, the details of your educational history. So whatever is on your CV, you can also, I'm not saying copy and paste, but take those ideas of what you have chronologically in your CV, take that and also add to your study plan. You could make it in a table form or just leave it as the essay form. Talk about what you did from this year to this year academically, what course you studied, what school you went to, establish it, put the names there, why you chose the course you studied back then, just put all of those information. So like I said, you can even make it in a table form in the study plan, or you leave it in the essay format and continue, but establish that breakdown as much as possible for whoever is accessing your application to see that, okay, from this stage to this stage, this person went to a primary school, and then the person went to a secondary school, and then the person went to a university, and then the person probably did a master's degree program and is coming to Canada to do another master's degree program. So it's up to you to, break down your academic details. Guys, don't forget, whatever it is you're adding to your study plan, make sure it establishes the fact that you're coming to Canada to study with the intentions of going back to work in your home country. In fact, as much as possible, make it bold for them to know that it's important to you to get the acquired skills and take it back to your country, because you know it's going to be beneficial for whatever field you are looking at. One other thing I think is not so relevant but yet relevant is, depending on the bank statement you want to use for your application. If you have cases where there are some lump sums, use your study plan to explain how the bulk of these funds came in at this particular time. If it's possible, put in the receipt, put in the breakdown of where that money came from. If it's from a family member who intends to sponsor your studies, or if it's from your place of work, maybe a grant or something, establish all of that in your study plan. Your study plan, I tell people, is where you have the chance to sell yourself, for anybody who is looking at your application to understand what you're going for. Remember, you wouldn't be there to defend your application, but your study plan stands a higher chance to defend and give a clear explanation of what your application is all about. And this just makes it easy for anybody who is making a decision in your application to have a clear picture and understanding of who you are, what you're coming for, your long-term goals, and most times you never can tell. Your study plan plays a very important role in your application. So take it seriously. Take it like you're applying for a job and you want to go for a job interview, and you're just preparing to make sure that you hit it all back to back. So take your study plan the same way and make it clear, concise, and as much as possible understandable to the barest minimum. I hope this information, you find this information worthy, or it's going to be helpful to your application. And if it's not going to be, if you know anyone around you who you think will benefit from these tips I've sent and you want more details, I'll be happy to send you a PDF copy of everything I've talked about, and then you could relate that to your story and write your personal statement. For today, thank you for watching, and please do me well to like, to share, and to subscribe to our channel for more videos to come in the future. Bye.